Alright, I did mine on women's rights in the workplace. Alright, so here's the number. Everyone knows it's the number 2, but what's the question? That's the answer. Prior to the 1960s, women pretty much had 2 options for the rest of their life. They could be a housewife, or they could be a housewife and a mother. They didn't have jobs, they didn't have careers. It's not going forward.
I don't know where you're pointing.
It's not
Pointing at the computer.
This is pretty much what you had to look forward to a long time ago. But I'm assuming many of you are here to get an education for a purpose, not because you have a lot of time or you have a lot of money that you want to just blow. I'm assuming at some point in time you want a job or a career. Okay, these are pretty much what I'm going to cover. Modern day, as of right now, the reason why we're here getting an education, the reason why we have a job, are because of 3 main things that happened in the 1960s. There's the Civil Rights Act, which is my first topic, Affirmative Action, and the Equal Pay Act. The Civil Rights Act, pretty much what is it? It was passed in 1964. It established the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. Pretty much what it does is it gives everyone the right to work. You can't discriminate based upon your gender. And then the EEOC, their responsibility was to look into complaints that the discrimination was still occurring, so that way something could be done about it. Great, so they passed a law saying that discrimination in employment on the basis of race and sex, what does it actually do? It pretty much just means that they can't advertise no women need apply. Doesn't mean they have to hire you, they just can't openly say they're not hiring you because you're female. So at this point, something had to happen to make the discrimination end so that way women could get the jobs that they were applying for and be taken seriously. And that would be the affirmative action. That was passed by President Lyndon Johnson in 1967. It pretty much said that federal agencies and contractors, they must take active measures to employ women and minorities. So it's still in effect today. It pretty much gives all women the same opportunities as white males. Everything is based upon that. So places that get funding or work for the government, they have to have a certain number of women and minority employees. Alright, so now we have the jobs, but are we receiving the same benefits? They can give you a job that a white male has and pay you half of what they pay him. And this is where the Equal Pay Act comes into effect. It was passed in 1970, and it pretty much says that an employer cannot change your job title simply to pay you less because you're female. If you're doing the same job as a man, you deserve the same pay as a man. And women, this pretty much says that in the workplace, just because we're not identical to men, we need to be treated as equal because we're doing equal jobs. And pretty much in conclusion, as far as today, where we are today, our past, how we got here, and our future, it wouldn't be possible without those 3 advancements, the Civil Rights Act, the Affirmative Action, and the Equal Pay Act. And once they've been passed in the 1960s, now, today, in 2011, they haven't been changed. They still stand the way they were. Okay, just a few things to think about. All of these facts were published in 2001 by the Business Women's Network. 95% of family financial decisions are made by women. A long time ago, women didn't have control over anything. They asked their husband for permission, they were told what to do, they knew what was expected of them, and that was the end of it. As far as purchasing power, women control $3.3 trillion annually. That's a huge amount of our economy. And this I thought was pretty interesting. Women business owners, they employ 35% more people than all Fortune 500 companies combined. So a lot of the reason why people have jobs today is because of women. And then another thing, people say that a woman can't have a career and they can't have a family, but 65% of the women in senior management, they have multiple children, which means that after giving birth and raising their family, they were still able to maintain their position. These are my sources. Most of my information as far as the timeline came from the website called infopolice.com. Any questions? It's my contact information. So.
Equal pay between men and women, is that do you still think it lingers in today's society?
To a certain extent, because there's only so much that can be done, because there's a fine line as to why they're paying less. But there are a lot of lawsuits, and if a woman has the same education, the same experience, all of that, and it goes to court, a lot of times they win. So there has to be a background to it. I think now it's getting to the point where employers are paying based upon experience or education more so than the gender that you put on your application. But I mean, there are still companies that do that, and it goes to court at that point for a judge to decide. Any other questions?